What's up, guys? It's me. It's Jonathan Overstreet. This is Potholes to Pave Roads. All right, so guys, I've been doing a lot of research lately on I don't know, there's different things about doing a podcast that I'm trying to kind of, learn as I go. Because, guys, if you knew me, if you only knew how not technically savvy that I am, it's just freaking amazing. I'm not at all, guys. Oh, goodness, I struggle. I mean, if you ever want to get me mad, just get me in front of a regular computer and let me try to figure out how to do something, because, oh, my goodness, man, I just get frustrated as all get out. But anyway, I'm doing a lot of research on the podcast lately and just looking up things and learning things, and I got to tell you, a lot of the podcast people that I'm finding on YouTube, this is seriously how they talk. Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Frank. I'll be your host. It's so good of you to be here today. Oh God, guys, if I start sounding like that, somebody please tell me, because I don't want to be sounding like that. These guys, they sound like they don't even want to hear what they got to say. I never want to get to that point. So, golly, some of these people, it's like, wow, why are you doing a podcast if you don't sound like you're even interested in what you're saying? So today, guys, on September 16th, that day is National Stepparents Day. So let me tell you a little story. So in the year, it was either in 1999 or in the year 2000, my mom and dad got a divorce. It was my senior year of high school. It came completely out of left field. I just had no idea. Never really saw my parents fight. But it turned out my dad was doing a bunch of things that if you want to lose your spouse and lose your marriage, just do what he did. And let's just put it like that. I don't want to go into detail too much. And if my dad ever listened to this, I love you, Dad. But wow. Okay, so my mom and dad get a divorce. My senior year of high school, my brother was in, I think, 6th grade. And a little while after my mom and dad got a divorce, my mom started seeing another guy. And this guy that she started seeing, his name is Ralph. And he is a freaking awesome guy. And my mom basically told him, I think it was somewhere along the lines of, hey, if you're not going to church, we're not dating. And I know that's old school, that's old-fashioned, guys, but look, I come from an old-fashioned family, and I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy. That's just how I roll. So she told him, hey, I don't want to date until you get in church. So my mom wanted to see this guy get in church and wanted to see some things change. And so he got in church. And man, I'm telling you, God completely changed this guy's life. I mean, it was miraculously changed his life. And I remember coming over to his house one day, saw beer bottles in the trash, and I was like, hey, what's up with this? And he said, well, I don't really have a desire to do that stuff anymore. And I'm not going to sit here and say I think that drinking alcohol is a sin or that you're going to hell from drinking alcohol, but if you're getting plastered drunk every night, that's a different story. Now, I don't know if he was doing that. I really don't believe he was. But because of how he felt and because of his convictions, and I'm not going to say guilt. I was about to say guilt, but I don't think it's necessarily guilt. I think it's look, if you're not a Christian, you're not going to understand this, but it's a holy conviction. It's a God nudging you saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this anymore. And that's kind of how it went with him. He stopped drinking. Eventually he stopped smoking, but he and my mom started dating, and things were great. And guys, I have now seen how a man should treat a woman. I saw a great example from my grandfather, who, by the way, is technically, I don't think I said this the last time I talked about my grandfather, but my grandfather that I talk about all the time is technically my step-grandfather. And Ralph is my stepdad. And guys, he's freaking amazing. Thank God for a godly step-parent. So my senior year of high school, right? We're going into my senior year. My parents were getting a divorce. My mom was starting to see my stepdad, my future stepdad, and but before all that happened, I was driving back and forth between Mangum, Louisiana, and Monroe, Louisiana, because that's where I was going to high school at, and it's about 30 miles, guys, and man, I am, I've gotten a lot better with this. Definitely in the last several years, I've gotten a lot better with this, but I used to be late for everything, guys. I'm talking everything, and it wasn't because I was primping or trying to look nice, because that's a joke in itself, but I was late for everything, and so I was driving 30 miles back and forth. My brother, we decided I was going to finish out high school there because I didn't want to change schools, and my brother was going to go ahead and finish up, I want to say it was elementary school, so maybe my brother was in 5th grade. Yeah, I think my brother was in 5th grade, and I was a senior. So we're trying to finish up those grades of school, and guys, I'm driving back and forth every day, 30 miles. Man, it seemed like I spent every other weekend in school suspension because I was late all the time. But anyway, eventually, my mom and my stepdad, they got married. And he officially became my stepdad. And I lived with them for a little while. So what I was saying, the reason I was telling you about how I am and how I'm late for everything, that kind of bled over to some other areas of my life to where I'm a bit of a slob. And one day I came home, and I remember my mom and stepdad had taken these papers they called the house rules, and they put them everywhere that me and my stepsister, by the way, are very similar when it comes to these things. We would wash clothes and leave our clothes in the washer or leave our clothes in the dryer for days on end, and then my parents would have to take them out, move them, and guys, it got frustrating for them. But my stepdad and my mom got together and said, you know what, we're going to come up with these house rules. If you start washing your clothes, you're going to finish your clothes. If you start doing this, you're going to finish this. And honestly, I can't remember a lot of the house rules, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, I remember the rules when it came to the laundry room. And guys, that for me was them putting their foot down, and through that was my stepdad putting his foot down too. Hey, this is my house too. He wasn't a jerk about it. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't a jerk. But guys, you know what? There might be people out there listening to this right now that think, you know, that's just weird. Why won't they help you do your clothes? Or why won't they do this or do that? Guys, it's their house. I was in college living in their house. Guys, you got to grow up sometime. And my stepdad helped to teach me that. He helped to teach me. He put his foot down, and it got my attention. And guys, it wasn't very long after that I moved out. And then I found out no matter where you go, you have to learn how to clean up behind yourself. It was a great and valuable lesson. And you can ask my wife, I've come a long way since we've been married for 15 years. I'm sorry, 17 years this year. You can ask my wife, I've come a long way in this time. And some of those rules and some of those things that he put his foot down are helping me now. And I'm still learning now. I'm still being taught now. But I tell you, more than anything, I've seen the way he cherishes my mother, the way he respects and loves my mother, and the way she respects him. It's just amazing. Their relationship is just out of this world, guys. And it's wonderful. I love seeing them together, and I love seeing their relationship. And I will say this. I'm speaking a little bit on behalf of my brother, but I don't think I'm saying anything that he wouldn't say. But my stepdad from my brother, that's his dad, guys. That is his dad. Might be his stepdad, but it's his dad. Guys, my stepdad came along when my brother was about 11 years old. So he stepped up to the plate. He stepped up to the plate at a time when my brother needed a dad. Going into those teenage years, getting close to going into those teenage years, man, a boy needs a dad. And he stepped up and he's been that dad for my brother. And he's done a wonderful job. My brother has turned out to be a great, great man. And a lot of that is due to what Ralph has done. A lot of that is due to the changes that Ralph was able to make in his own life. Because Ralph was just like the rest of us. Before he came to know God, he was messed up. Even after you come to know God, sometimes you're messed up for a long time. It takes a while for God to do these changes in us. And I know this is preachy, but this is the truth, and I can't think of any other way to put it. Because Ralph is the one true, honest-to-God salvation miracle that I have seen in my own personal life. And it's amazing. Thank God for a godly step-parent. All right, guys, for the second half of the podcast today, I have a very special guest. The sexiest, most beautiful. She's the loveliest wife I have ever had.
I'm the only one you had.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Only one ever. My beautiful wife, Miss Heather Overstreet. Okay, Heather, you are like me. You have a step-parent. Tell us a little bit about you first, and then a little bit about your step-parent.
So I am the first girl out of 7 children. I have 4 biological brothers and sisters, same mom, same dad, and I have 3 half sisters and brother. I don't believe in step or in-law or any of that. They're family. They're my brother and sister, and that's that. When I was 15, I started coming to Monroe, Louisiana, where my dad lived and was married to a wonderful lady named Leanne. And she grew up in a small town close to where I grew up in Arkansas. She is a wonderful, wonderful stepmom, and she has really just taken me in as her own. She has been there through a lot of things that I have been through, and she didn't have to be. She chose to love my dad and marry my dad, and he had several kids, and she took all of us as her own before she even had her own kids. And she don't treat us any different than her biological children.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a really awesome lady. Hard-working lady. She's had the same job for years and years and years. From day one, your stepmom has been one of the coolest people I've ever known. She's really awesome. And for her to be able to put up with your dad, I'm kidding. Your dad's awesome. But so you're kind of like my brother as far as like she is so much like your mom. You know what I mean? As far as being your mom, she's not like stepmom. Right. She is mom to you.
So I'm very fortunate. I always say I have 3 moms. I have my biological mom who birthed me, and my stepmom who raised me from the age of 15 till now, because I'm 35 and I'm still being raised. I still call her to ask questions. And then I have Jonathan's mom, who I call mom too, and all 3 of them have a different role in my life, but yet they're still a mother figure to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How long ago, can you, just for a second, can you explain, how long ago do you think it was that your stepmom came into your dad's life?
So, Mom came into
were you a
his
kid?
life
I can't
when
remember.
I was probably 13.
Okay.
I believe. But okay. She would do things that normal stepmoms wouldn't do. Like, she would drive all the way from Monroe, Louisiana to McGee, Arkansas, which is about a 2-hour drive, and come and pick me up for my football game and bring me home to Louisiana without my dad. Let me say that.
Yeah.
Most stepmoms would always be with, the parent But she did all that on her own. So she would come to my football games and watch me because I was in band, and they would do the whole, switching over the bags and all that while I was on the field. So she's not a normal stepmom. But let me say this. How you treat your stepmom is how the relationship is going to develop.
Oh, man, that's a great point.
If you treat your stepmom like a stepmom and you degrade her and belittle her and treat her hateful, she's not going to want to be the parent figure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, if you treat her with respect and you love her, it's okay to have a relationship with your step-parent.
Absolutely.
It's okay to have a relationship in a way. They're not there to replace your parent. They are there to support you and to be a bonus parent.
Yeah, exactly.
And how you respect them and love them is how they're going to respect you and love you, and that's how the relationship grows.
That's good. Let's take just a second and try to get into the mind of a step-parent too, because you got to think about it like this as well. Because when you're a step-parent, don't get me wrong, being the biological parent to a kid is very difficult and very hard at times, very challenging. But you got to think about it like this too. When you're a step-parent, when you step into that role, you're at a completely different process in that child's life than the biological parent would have been. And so what you have to think about too is, as a step-parent, it takes them being in the right mind too. And when I said it before, I meant it. Thank God for godly step-parents, because my stepdad, Ralph, he stepped up and he got into the right frame of mind to be able to help parent, me and my brother. And your mom, she stepped right in there. I never saw your mom as anything but your mom. Your stepmom as anything but your mom. And, it's really awesome in the last few years, too, to see how you have gotten closer to your mom.
Right.
Your biological mom. Your relationship with your biological mom has changed a lot over the years. And it's been just tremendous blessing to us as a family and to you as a mother to be able to let go of some of that past pain and past hurt and be able to move forward. And the same with your mom. Your biological mom has been able to let go of some things and change, and people change. And see, so that's really the point of what I'm talking about right now is it doesn't matter how you come into the situation. If you can just get your right mindset, your mindset around the fact that, because I think it's like this, Heather, I think you'd agree with this. When you get married to somebody, you don't have two different bank accounts. You shouldn't. You should have one joint bank account together. And it's the same way if you get married to someone and they've got children. You kind of come into this thing together. Now, you don't want to rule and reign over your spouse and over their kids, but you kind of get in line with your spouse and learn how to manage being a parent. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that you love first.
Oh, that's good. When
you love first and you see that person as someone you love, the parenting automatically goes into place.
That's
so
good.
When I was still living with my biological mom and I would go to my mom and my dad's house in the weekend, I knew the rules and I knew the guidelines because of how they loved me. I knew that if they were strict, they wanted to protect me from what that, town had to offer. Now, with that being said, I come from a small town where everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
You get in trouble in first period, your mom knew by middle of the first period, and she was at that school.
Exactly.
So, and then moving to Louisiana, where it's a 10 times bigger town, much less school, there had to be some tough love. And so I think with step-parents, I think that they're unappreciated in the moment. You don't appreciate them until later on in life.
Yeah. You grow into it. You grow to learn them as a person. And you also grow to learn that you got to admit, there's a lot of awkwardness to it at first. There is. Until you really get to that point where you understand this person is not here to hurt me, but here to help me. And the whole stigma among being a step parent. There's stereotypes on that, but there is for a reason, because there are some scummy people out there who are step parents.
Yeah.
But we are fortunate, and to God be the glory, we've had really good, godly, loving step parents in our life.
Yes, I agree.
And September 16th, we might be a little bit late on it, but I tell you what, man. I think this is good. I think this has been a good episode, getting to talk about our step-parents a little bit.
Yep.
And I just want to say thank you to my beautiful wife. Maybe we'll be able to do this more often.
No, we're going to have a takeover. I'm going to take over and talk to y'all about some things.
Oh, Jesus, help us, Lord.
Just kidding.
Lord.
Just kidding.
No, that's all right. Hey, I wouldn't mind that. I could use a little break, too. You put me to work on all this house stuff. You ought to see our house. My goodness, man. I've been on vacation a week, and, man, we've been getting after it. Working together, getting some stuff done, getting things accomplished. But anyway, guys, thank y'all for listening so much. And
Can I say one thing before we get off?
Go ahead, baby.
If you are new to having a step parent, or even if you're not, try giving them a chance. We all make mistakes. We all do things that we tend to not think. Sometimes we think that our way is the only way it can go in a relationship. But we all make mistakes. If we can just focus on loving the person, and not so much the title of that person.
That's good.
It would be easier to have a relationship with people. And not just step parents. That's anybody.
Yeah, that's good. Heather, that's good. Thanks a lot for talking a lot better than I normally do. And now everybody's going to be like, why don't you just let her host all the time? I sure appreciate it, girl. I love you, baby. Thank you for hosting with me. And guys, thank y'all for listening. This is Jonathan Overstreet and Heather Overstreet. Potholes to pave roads.